Hi, I'm Pam, and I'm here to talk about video games. 2025 is almost over, and I played a lot of games that released this year, well over 50 of them. And while I will be talking about a number of my favorites in later videos, there were a handful of games that came out that disappointed me. The games on this list aren't necessarily bad games, but they were games that I looked forward to that didn't meet my expectations in some way, or were just otherwise disappointing. Doom: The Dark Ages was developed by id Software and released for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox in May. The 2016 reboot of the Doom franchise became one of my favorite games in that year, and one of my favorite first-person shooters, period. Its sequel, Doom Eternal, is one that I had high hopes for, but was ultimately disappointed by. I hoped that Doom: The Dark Ages would be a return to form, but this one disappointed me as well. This game puts a medieval spin on things with a much heavier feeling armor-clad Doom Marine who wields a shield that can be used for a lot of charging and parrying enemies. He moves slower, though the shield charge does let you get around quickly. I found the game to be straining under the weight of constant tutorialization. How many screens of text do I need to read to know how to kill demons? It takes a good 7 or 8 of the game's 22 levels to actually get up to pace. The beginning third is very boring. Levels look good, but many are way too long, taking place in huge open fields with multiple objectives that have you running back and forth. The guns feel good, there's good variety, but so much of the game feels like playing a game of Simon Says. A demon flashes purple and you melee attack, they flash green and you parry, red and you do an execute that is sadly lacking an interesting glory kill. There were some new things introduced which seemed awesome in the trailer. At times you pilot a Titan mech, and sometimes you ride a dragon. As metal as these things sound, they were actually the worst and most boring parts of the game. The cutscenes are also too long and too boring. I just want to kill demons, I don't need anyone to talk. That's what the Slayer would want to. Orcs Must Die: Deathtrap was developed by Robot Entertainment and released in January for PC and Xbox. It combines third-person combat with a sort of tower defense as you set up traps to protect your keep from hordes of orcs. My friends and I are always on the lookout for fun 4-player co-op games, and this one looked like it had real potential. It looks great, it features a nice selection of character classes to play as. The traps are a lot of fun. I mostly enjoy the upgrade system of improving your characters and traps and getting access to new abilities. But they had to make it a roguelite. The loop of the game is that you protect a series of keeps, and after a few levels you face a boss. In the beginning, the pace of this is alright. But as you progress, you need to defeat more and more levels before the boss makes an appearance. After a few wins, a single run was taking us 3+ hours with no mechanism to save mid-run. The level design of the later boss areas are also of subpar quality. The game is all about funneling your enemies through a series of traps, and these levels became way too open and sprawling to create any natural choke points. I think we could have had a lot of fun with this game if they just made it a proper campaign rather than leaning on the roguelite crutch. Blade Chimera was developed by Team Ladybug and released for PC and Switch in January. In this cyberpunk Metroidvania, you play a demon hunter regaining their lost skills and recovering their past. This one was disappointing because it just isn't very interesting. Though the pixel art is nice, controls are smooth, and the boss fights are the standout parts of the game, it's a complete letdown in terms of exploration and level design. The map is just monotonous, consisting mostly of long hallways with a few different enemy types peppered in. I never felt rewarded or compelled to explore. I usually look to Team Ladybug for unique mechanics like they had in Touhou Luna Nights. But this was a fairly straightforward run-and-gun with a demon sword that could only be used for very particular reasons. The game is full of equipment and items that feel underwhelming, as well as a ton of optional side quests that mostly revolve around fetching things. There's too much dialogue, and none of it is that well written. The acquisition of new abilities is also done on a talent tree, which messes with the pacing of the game. One interesting thing this game does is let you teleport to any point on the map from mostly any other point. I never thought I'd say this, but it does seem like there can be too much convenience when it comes to backtracking. When this mechanic was added to the already uninteresting map, it completely took me out of this world. Demonschool was developed by Necrosoft Games and released in November for PC and consoles. You control Faye and her band of companions as they investigate and take on demons while attending university on a mysterious island. I was really excited for this one as I love the look of this game. I'm a big fan of tactical combat, and I also assumed that there would be some decision making involved regarding how you spend your time each day. It does look great. I really like the pixel art. The combat is just as much about solving a puzzle as it is about tactics. You know how every enemy will behave, and you need to queue up the actions of your whole team before the turn starts. It's like Tactical Breach Wizards or Into the Breach, more so than XCOM or Fire Emblem. I do enjoy that type of combat, and I think it works alright here. The decision making is absent. Though your UI puts a lot of focus on calendars and times of day, it's very clear what will trigger progression, and you can do every side mission available, which you can see on the location list if you want. You see every interaction available to you, no exploration necessary. But the reason I was disappointed by this is that it's very repetitive. I don't mind the goofy dialogue, but the loop of choosing a location from a map, having some goofy dialogue, then getting attacked by demons becomes quite rote quite quickly. Though I generally enjoyed the tactical combat, there are just too many very similar feeling fights. I just felt like this game needed something else to shake it up a bit, and after 6 or 7 hours, I had become quite tired of it. Vampire: The Masquerade Bloodlines 2 was developed by the Chinese Room and released for PC, PlayStation, and Xbox in October. It is, sadly, not a vampire role-playing game, but rather a vampire brawler with a lot of dialogue and running back and forth through a wintry Seattle. Everyone knows I was looking forward to this, at least at first. I did make an entire video on this topic if you want to see my full thoughts. It just wasn't a good game. It's a terrible Bloodlines 2, but even if I try to separate that out and just look at what it's actually doing rather than what I want it to do, it's a 2 out of 10 Bloodlines 2 and maybe a 5 out of 10 video game in general. The combat, of which there is so much, isn't fun. The mechanics are poorly explained, and important features like locking onto targets are missing. Most of the characters aren't interesting enough, especially your main character Fire, who is a real drag. She's a powerful elder vampire but spends all her time doing errands for every other vampire and has nothing interesting to say. I do enjoy the character Fabian and the story and dialogue during his parts of the game, but even that is dragged down by constant back and forth through an open world that offers you nothing but travel time. It's a shame, but this one stung a little. And lastly, I just wanted to mention the category of games that I'm completely over this year. I don't even know if they have a real genre name. They're all roguelites. Some are bullet heaven, some simulate gambling, and some are practically idle games. But games like Ball Pit and Clover Pit are so boring. Addictive? Maybe. They have slot machine mechanics and fun sound and visual effects when you combine skills or level up, but that's all they have going for them. It doesn't make them fun. I try them because they're very easy to pick up and play, and an hour or two later I'm asking myself, what am I doing with my life? In the last few years, I learned that cinematic puzzle platformers were no longer for me. And this year, I learned that I should be avoiding these arcadey, empty dopamine-pushing roguelites. So those were the games from this year that disappointed me. Some I thought were okay games, just not what I wanted, and some I didn't think were very good. Let me know in the comments if any games this year didn't live up to your expectations or you think just could have been better. I will be back soon to tell you all about the games that I did like from 2025. You can expect to see a top 10 plus honorable mentions, plus a look at and ranking of all of the 2025 Metroidvanias I played. If you want to see more, check out one of my other videos here. I have a Patreon, or you can become a channel member if you want to help support the channel. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.